you see another movie?
I did.
What did you see?
The Untouchables.
Oh, that is really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, classic.
Now, of course, it's loosely based on history.
Yes, certain things in it actually happened. I mean, Elliot Ness was a real person who really did take down Al Capone. Um, there was a lot less shootouts in his life because he was not a very pro-gun guy and didn't even carry a gun.
Right.
But in this movie, there is quite a lot of shooting.
Well, yeah. Believe it or not, when that Valentine's Day massacre in Chicago happened, according to your grandfather, he was down the street getting a haircut.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
my great grandfather.
your great grandfather, yes. So, your great grandfather was basically a bootlegger.
Yeah, he worked for Al
Now,
Capone.
yeah, he was a scoundrel. He was very, very charismatic. He was 6'4", and he was from Tennessee, right outside Knoxville, and his nickname was Tennessee Slim.
He sounds like a movie character.
Well, he kind of is. He ran away at 12 and went out west and became one of DuPont's first explosive experts. So he did that when he was young and blew off a part of his finger from a fast blasting cap. So he always was missing part of his finger from the time he was young. And they needed a lot of explosive experts out west for laying the railroad. So, but I mean, he was the ultimate entrepreneur. Anything he touched, he turned to gold. I mean, he sold that one restaurant 4 times because no one else could manage it as well as he and his wife did. Plus, your great grandmother, few people were better cooks than her. Her pies were.
Yeah, well,
Just,
they would sell the restaurant, and she wouldn't be the cook, and then the food would suck, and then the price of that restaurant would tank because it wasn't the
uh-huh.
same restaurant, and he'd buy it
Yep.
again, make it the restaurant that people
Again,
liked, and then sell it
the
again.
fourth time he sold it, he owned a town in Michigan on the border with Canada. So he owned the general store, the post office, and the saloon. So what better place to bring alcohol across the border?
For Al
Now,
Capone.
yeah, now according to him, he brought mostly beer over. The federal government did take his money away from him once or twice for bootlegging. Stories, I mean, your grandfather was very wealthy before they took all the money away from him. I mean, he owned a plane. How many people owned planes back then?
Not a
Very
lot.
few people. Yes, yes. But yeah, that's where he was. I mean, there was a lot wilder back then. I mean, your grandfather from a very early age never walked anywhere without a gun because of all the bears, being a very small child because you could get picked off. Now, it's kind of like in Alaska where they need to know your route to school. And if you don't show up, they follow that same route because a bear could pick you off. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there was a huge polio outbreak, and he sold that town and moved to northern Florida in order to protect my father from polio, and sure enough, he did.
He's a wild
But
character.
and during your grandfather's life, many people came and wanted to ask him to write a book, and he always said, "Nope, I'd get too many people in trouble." Did say that the Valentine's Day massacre was not Al Capone. They would never be that stupid. It was the other gang. Every week, both gangs sent an entire truck of liquor to the police station. Every week. And the other gang wanted to cheat them. They got a little pompous and too full of themselves and send a truck of empty boxes. No liquor. So the reason why they were dressed as police officers is because they were police officers. Very interesting. I love that movie because always in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, what was your grandpa doing? Wonder what scenes are real or not real. Yeah.
It's it was funny because that movie did go up to the Canadian border, and I was thinking, oh, that's probably right by my great grandfather's town. I When I saw the horses in that scene, I got
Yeah.
excited because I thought they were going to be on horseback
Oh,
during
like
a
cavalry. Oh, yes.
during
yes.
a
Okay,
shootout.
Right.
I got really excited. And then the next scene they were just in a like a cabin. I was like, "Oh no, where's the horses? There's not going to be a shootout with horses." And then the next scene they bring the horses back. I'm like, "Yes."
Okay.
So they were on horseback shooting it up. That was great. It was the music was great. The period piece, the costuming was fantastic. I mean, even down to Al Capone's underwear. Robert De Niro, who played Al Pacino, who worked.
He didn't play Al Pacino. He played.
Sorry.
Yeah. Al Capone. Right.
Al Capone, different Al.
Right.
Robert De Niro tracked down the original tailors for Al Capone, and had them make something similar for the movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, back then,
they were still alive.
Right, because you'd wear a suit, and you only had a few, and that was you kind of lived it. You didn't really walk around in t-shirts and shorts back then. You had to be dressed much more formally.
I love that the movie was a period piece because I got to see all these lovely clothes. Yeah. And of course, I mean, we haven't. Sean Connery was
just amazing.
His only Oscar win is that movie, and deserve it. He stole every scene he was in. He chewed that scenery up so well. It was awesome. Andy Garcia was great.
Oh yeah.
As
Andy Garcia is one of those jewels. He's not celebrated as like one of the top actors, but he's really good.
I loved his role in that because it was quiet and in the background, but his presence was felt a lot. He had a very distinct personality, so that even though he didn't have that many like lines or stuff, you always noticed him in the scenes. You always knew where he was. You felt him. Andy Garcia is Cuban. And,
I know that.
And playing an Italian just made me think of Ronan, who is mistaken for Italian all the time.
Well, he does look Italian.
Ronan looks like a mobster, which is a great look for him.
The amazing part is he's such a nice guy.
I love my brother. He's a sweetheart. I'm gonna hang out with him tomorrow. But he often dresses like he's about to take my lunch money. And oh shoot, what's his name? Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I feel bad because I had already seen JFK, which is a very similar role that he played only a few years later.
Right.
It's the same sort of thing. A crusader trying to get someone.
Right.
But he had a very clear character, and I liked him in JFK. But in this one, he was playing the straight man. But I felt I was not. I thought he played it way too straight. Because if you look at the actions of the character, there's a very clear character arc in those actions. But I only realized that after the movie was over in like retrospect, because he didn't play that character change at all. He felt like the same character at the beginning and the end from a performance perspective. I felt that performance was like easily the weakest of the cast. I didn't like it.
Okay. The part that I really liked was that whole scene with the baby stroller.
Oh my god, the baby stroller scene was fantastic.
No, from a mom standpoint, that's heart attack material.
It was heart attack material, and that was why it was great.
I was like, oh my gosh, I remember seeing it for the first time, and my heart was like, oh my god.
It was very suspenseful the way they made like a scene that was basically a minute and a half of him just staring at this crying baby be terrified, like very intense. They did a great job with the pacing and the building of suspense.
Oh yeah.
Part of me is surprised you've seen that movie because the first scene, like a little girl gets blown up.
Well, I didn't remember. I went to see that in the movie theater, so I didn't realize what was coming. Right?
Yeah,
but
when we saw
that
Eddie paused the movie and I was like, this is not a movie for your mom. Like
I have seen it, but only because I was captured, paid money, and was sitting in a theater.
Yeah.
Right. You know, when you pay money in a theater, you're more likely to watch it all the way through. If you're sitting on the TV, click, change. It's like, oh my god, click, 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 click. Okay, well, I'm running in, sweetheart.
All right.
I will talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, love you bunches.
Love you. Bye-bye.